James Kaufman, World News Report today, September 13th, 2024. God bless you and yours, no matter where you are in the world. Please subscribe, give us a thumbs up, ring that bell for critical future updates. Elon Musk slams Australian government over proposed legislation to censor social media. Australia wants to fight quote-unquote misinformation. In other words, censorship, and they want only the government's narrative. Elon Musk calls them all fascists. On his self-appointed but very real role as a paladin for free speech online, billionaire entrepreneur Elon Musk has had to butt heads with multiple authoritarian governments, and it does seem like the trend is increasing. We're adults, ladies and gentlemen. We don't need to be governed. Government is supposed to be by the people, for the people. We don't need to be told what misinformation and disinformation is by anyone. Musk, in his social media platform X today on the 13th, called the Australian globalist leftist government fascist in a criticism over proposed legislation that aims to slap fines on social media firms for failing to prevent the spread of misinformation online. One person's misinformation or disinformation is another person's fact or truth. And as we all know, that misinformation or disinformation turns out to be true more than it turns out to be false, period. Reuters reported, quote, Australia's Labour government on Thursday unveiled legislation which could fine internet platforms up to 5% of their global revenue for enabling misinformation, joining a worldwide push to rein in borderless tech giants. The proposed law requires tech platforms to set codes of conduct in order to stop dangerous falsehoods spreading, and establishes that this code would need to be approved by a regulator. Can you say censorship? Australia, you better take control of your leaders. The law dictates that the regulator would set its own standard if a platform failed to do so, and proposes to fine firms for non-compliance. So one person's going to make the decision on what misinformation and disinformation is? Ridiculous. Quote, Musk, who views himself as a champion of free speech, responded to the post by an X-user linking the Reuters story about misinformation laws with one word, fascists. The Australian Prime Minister, Albanese, also wants all memes about him struck from the internet. Laughable. Communication Minister Michelle Rowland responded by saying that companies operating in Australia must comply with Australian laws. Is censorship an Australian law? As one would expect, Musk's comments on the push against misinformation, also known as censorship, drew criticism from other Australian government officials and lawmakers. Assistant Treasurer Stephen Jones told ABC television that social media platforms should not publish scam content, deepfake materials, and live stream violence in the name of freedom of speech. Musk has already faced the globalists from Albanese's government and ended up victorious. What they want to hide is that all the illegal migration and immigration that the globalists are forcing around the world is ending up, well, being very dangerous for the country's real citizens, no matter which country it is. Quote, in a previous clash with the Australian government, X in April went to court to challenge a cyber regulator's order for the removal of some posts about the stabbing of a bishop in Sydney, prompting Prime Minister Anthony Albanese to call Musk an arrogant billionaire. In the end, the regulator dropped its challenge against X after suffering a setback in the federal courts. X did block Australian users from viewing the posts about the stabbing, but refused to remove them globally on the obvious grounds that one country's censorship rules should not control the planetary internet. God bless you and yours, folks. Country after country, globalist after globalist, they're trying to take your freedom of speech. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what scares them. Free speech. Please share, subscribe, and always remember that anything's possible. Bizarro world.